Thanks for joining us again. Last time we got together, we were over at Steve Hanford's of Hanford Cabinets talking about what's involved with kitchen design and layout, and you should get to him very soon. Today we're going to meet with an electrician. His name is Jason Zelek of Connected Systems here, and he's going to give us some insight of what to think about, you know, when you're doing a new eco-friendly home. The wiring, the alarm system, backup, generator, all the things you need to think about. So let's go meet him. Hey, how you doing, Jason?
Hi, Dave. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, same here. Thank you for taking the time out of your day and coming over and visiting our little eco-friendly job we got going on here. And you know, we're looking to you to give us some insight on what we should think about, you know, for doing a project like this.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. Looks like things are well underway. I'd actually like to start off outside the house and just see where you're at with regards to bringing utilities into the site.
Yeah, so right over here is will be a good visual on that. You know, as we said, there's a temporary electric pole, and then we have our service on that transformer. So the envisionment was driveway's going to come up this way, go up to like a turnaround here. We didn't want to put in the driveway because we're going to do the septic system and some of the piping right underneath there, and we didn't want it all to wash out, you know, in the spring rain or anything. So we'll get everything situated, and then we'll establish that. So with the utilities, what we agreed to is, okay, temporary pole within a certain distance, and then we were going to run underground service up to the corner of the house over here for a meter.
More underground pipes, the better.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, great,
great. So now we know we have a plan to get the power to the house. Do you have an idea where you'd like to see your main electrical panel? And to go along with that, are you entertaining any photovoltaics? And thirdly, have you thought about a standby emergency power system?
Yes and no.
Okay, all right.
Well, there's actually three questions there. The first one, we were going to put the electrical panel over in the corner over here.
Okay.
So, of course, down in the base, but mounted to the side wall, and then panel below it is a short wall. PV, yes.
Okay.
The original plan of this house is facing true south, and so we have a 50-foot by 25-foot unobstructed roof facing true south, and we're going to have about 13 kW on that, facing
Terrific.
that way. Yeah.
Wow, very nice.
Right.
Based on the main electrical service panel location, the photovoltaics, and your inverter location, and possibly automatic transfer switch for a standby power system, you may want to consider allowing for some additional wall space in that corner of the basement, so all those pieces of equipment can be nicely structured down there.
Yeah, so where I was envisioning the meter to be is this far corner over here. That way it's almost a straight run from the, you know, for trenching right up to here. You know, this wall right in here is what we figured, and we could put the panel here, or we got this whole big alcove there because it kind of follows the foundation. So this, I was looking at this whole wall of plywood for all our renewables and all those kind of things. The meter could actually, the panel could go on this wall or that wall, depending on what makes more sense to you.
Okay. So I assume we're standing in the master bathroom right now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. You're just going to want to take some consideration when you build a common mistake that we can avoid, because we're talking now, is when you're building your panel board wall to hold the panels and other items we just discussed, make sure there isn't plumbing running directly overhead.
Oh, sure, there's plumbing everywhere.
Yeah. So we should definitely take note and make sure we don't have overhead plumbing waste lines directly above your electrical panels.
Right. We thought of that because, you know, again, the saying is the first one in wins here. And so, no, this is kind of a joke of the industry here, the trades, but a lot of times we like to get the drain in first because that really takes precedence. We got to have pitch, we got to have other things like that. Electrical we can work around, some of the hot and cold we can work around, but definitely the drain needs to kind of take precedence. So what we did on this one, we assumed the panel would be here, so we offset it way over here so it's not really right on top if the panel was there. So that was the envisionment, but now what about that? The good question was, this was going to be a freestanding tub. That's a lot of water. Is that allowed to be above any of those things, or just by, it's not a good practice?
As long as the waste line and the hot and cold serving the tub don't run above the physical footprint of the electrical panels, you're fine.
Okay.
Dave, since we're already standing here in the master bathroom, just looking down at the space, have you considered any radiant floor heat for this room, whether it's hydronic or electric mat style heating?
Well, it's a good question because actually this whole house is going to be radiant, hydronic.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do underfloor heating throughout. You know, being that we have that much PV on there, so our generation equipment is probably going to be electrical based. That's what we tried to minimize the carbon footprint. Air sourced or ground source heat pump is probably going to be the generator for making the hot water. So we'd either do air to water being an air source or ground source being water to water.
Okay.
And we would do everything water. So we assume that whole first floor is going to be, you know, radiant floor. So to me, tile, marble, granite are natural. But I'm glad you're progressive.
Okay.
And think about that when you talk to a future homeowner or whatever, that these are things to think about. It bothers me to walk into a bathroom and see throw rugs everywhere. And why? Well, because it's too cold to stand on it. Well, it's, you know, hey, you could make it a lot better.
Well, we also like to prove out where we can run our wires, not run them, and where we should be drilling and not drilling holes.
Right.
With regards to the type of light fixture housings we would choose, and boxes, and where we'd be drilling, what are your choices for insulation? Which way do you think you're going to go?
Well, for wall insulation and in the rafter bays, because this thing is not going to be ceiling insulation, it's all going to be rafter insulation with rigid outside. So anything underneath our rafters are conditioned space. So we were assuming we were going to go with a traditional, you know, recessed lighting housing and put an LED lamp in there. Instead of buying a special LED or type device, we buy traditional and do more of a replacement LED bulb in there. That was where I thought for cost trade-off, okay? They don't have to be sealed because they're never going to touch insulation, so I don't have to worry about ICT or anything else like that.
So from the way you're choosing to insulate the home, the true outside envelope is going to be the exterior walls and the roof rafters.
Yeah, all the way up. And then we're wrapping the whole thing with that rigid insulation. So it's like an igloo cooler. Oh, from the walls, don't make a stop. They go right over the roof, all the way back down. So infiltration is really going to be a minimal.
Okay. We're probably just going to want to clarify any recess housings in the upper floor rafter system.
Yeah, okay.
But otherwise, what you
Right.
described sounds fine. All right, Dave. Based on what you just said, what about this space right here, this ceiling above the bump out? How are we going to be insulating that?
Yeah, I guess I kind of got to eat my words on that one. I was saying we don't need these insulation contacts because here, but yeah, that's a perfect example that we're filling the rafter bay and we only have a small space and that will be into that insulation. So, but yes, yeah, there you go.
So in this situation where you're going to use an AIC rated can.
Yes.
Air seal insulation contact rated can.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, you know, I made that broad stroke statement because most things are drop ceiling or something else where we're not going to be in contact with it. But yes, I'm glad you're on top of it to catch up on that. So.
Okay. So we've got the power to the house. We know how we're insulating the house. We know what we're going to have radiant floor heating in all areas. Let's start talking about wiring the house. Do you have any interest in things like home automation? An alarm system, which is very commonplace these days, not just for peace of mind, but insurance purposes. Audio, video, cameras. There's probably 200 to 300% more interior wiring and cabling in a house built today than 20 years ago.
Wow. But you almost yes to all those things that, you know, the wonderful structured wiring thing is we definitely believe in home automation, not going crazy, but we do want to automate some of the things. So it depends on how far we want to go. You know, right here, the whole thing faces south and there's a lot of glass. We may want to have automatic shades on there. So why have a battery operated one? Why not have a powered one?
Hardwired.
Got to think of those things.
It's
yes.
amazing how many of these things tie together and most importantly, bridge different subcontractors together.
Right. Well, a good question, just like we said right over here, is like that master. And, you know, got a pair of French doors and then 2 fixed French doors on either side. What would you do for an alarm system here? Would you do the old way of running a wire to it so when they set the door you go through the frame, or are we doing wireless? Or?
New construction, open framing, we really prefer to pull wires.
Okay.
We'd really like to get hardwired contacts in everywhere.
Okay.
And based on your meeting with a preferred shade vendor, then possibly also hardwire those.
Okay. Right. So based on locations and other stuff, and then we would know. Yeah, it's kind of funny. We just filmed an episode earlier, and then we met with the kitchen cabinet guy, and the same thing. You can't get there soon enough with him. As soon as you get a layout, because I got to be able to tell you, the plumber, everybody, where locations of appliances and layout are. Same thing on this. Okay, you can't have it as an afterthought. You got to think up front what's going on.
The kitchen is typically the most expensive room to wire in most homes.
Yeah, let's go in the living room. You get your suggestion for lighting in here. That's always a concern is, how do you light up a ceiling that's, cathedral or sloping or vaulted or something like that? What would your envisionment on here?
Okay, well, we've got our southern exposure here, and we've got rafters again, so I'm assuming that's going to be the netted blown-in cellulose insulation. Yes. So we'll be using IC cans in those areas again, or AIC cans in those areas. It's a nice, big, open feel. You've got a high ceiling. Would you also want a ceiling fan in this room?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
No.
Toughest things, one of the toughest things for some customers is to envision the room finished, sheetrocked. So that's where laying out lighting and making suggestions can get a little trickier, time consuming. But based on what I see here now, I would suggest some recessed lighting with adjustable aperture trims.
The eyeballs?
Well, that reminds me.
A nice way of saying it, but they're nice.
A condo from the 1980s.
Yeah,
Say a 4-inch low voltage style recessed housing, which will still take a retrofit LED style MR16 bulb.
Good.
And it will have a hinged adjustable trim, which will still allow it to reach a horizontal, even when it's installed in a slope up to 45.
Okay, yeah, this is this is about 40. This is 10 pitch. So,
okay, 10 pitch. I think a combination of recessed lighting in the rafters and some wall sconces and pre-wiring for switched receptacles, you could have a very nice balance.
All right, let's take a look at the kitchen. You were saying earlier that there's a lot of wiring going on in here?
Yes, between the lighting, the countertop receptacles, the appliances, yes. Kitchens, there's usually a lot of electrical wiring in a kitchen. Most importantly, you having a detailed kitchen electrical print to scale, showing all the cabinets, countertops, appliances, cut sheets on appliances, showing the specific locations where the electrician is supposed to put his junction or power outlet boxes is critical. And then another reason is so we can do a nice lighting layout so everything's balanced and relates to your upper cabinets, possible island or peninsula is also very helpful. So spending time with your kitchen contractor is money well spent. Right.
I can see that. We envision, this would be a countertopped L shape, big island in the middle, and then like refrigerator and a wall oven over there. That's all great, but you need to know exactly the path between for lighting and what's going over the island.
Exactly.
Whether it's pendants or recessed or
Are you going to have under cabinet lighting? Are you going to have any glass front cabinets? Do you want any in cabinet lighting? Then sometimes we'll even do above cabinet lighting. You may want to consider in some areas, if you like the look, possibly a plug mold strip. Some people like that.
Nicer
Others
looking,
do not.
Yeah.
You can get them in brushed aluminum in different colors now. And then if there's a particularly challenging or difficult area due to, say, a base cabinet detail or framing in the corner or a lazy Susan below, they also have these devices. They're pop-up countertop receptacles which close down flush. They're made by the Doug Mockett Company. Those can be helpful in situations like this where a countertop and backsplash runs right into our windowsills. Dave, it was really nice meeting you today. Thank you for having me out. But just, I'd like to leave you with one thought. You may want to consider some home automation, which is a pretty broad term, but it'd be a control system, an app-based control system, which may bridge together your electrical lighting, switching, your voice and data, your alarm, and your video systems.
Wow, that's a lot right there you just said.
Yeah, that would probably require a follow-up visit. We'd have to sit down, look at a set of prints, and dive much deeper.
Okay. Well, great. All right. Well, that was awesome information. I appreciate it, Jason, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Well, that was great. Jason came by and gave us some really good information. And you know, bottom line on all these things, you got to get together with professionals very early on in the process. Like we're talking about alarm systems, home automation, all these other things. You know, I need to have a layout and a design and stuff so we can, you know, get going on those electricians. So this is great. Hey, at this point, I'd like to offer it out to anybody else who's following along. Have you had experience with this? You know, are you doing home automation? Are you doing any smart home technologies? Did you run into any pitfalls or a positive experience? You know, please get back to us. You know, visit us on the blog there at greencomforthome.com and tell us about some of your experiences. I look forward to it.